Welcome to Kevin Richards VIPs. The Corson family is a well-known name here in the city of Barrie. Let's get to know the driving force behind Mom's Pantry, Patricia Corson. So we're sitting at Mom's Pantry here on Bell Farm Road in Barrie. Patricia, of all the places in Barrie where we could sit and talk, why Mom's Pantry?
Okay, first of all, Kevin, you can call me Patty.
Okay. I'm used to that.
I hope so, after all these decades.
Absolutely.
We're here because I spent 3/4 of my life here. A lot of my happy years were spent here at Mom's with my family, so that's why we're here.
But Mom's isn't just Mom's Pantry, so we gotta dig into this a little bit and unpack that a little bit. How long ago did your family create Mom's Pantry? Because you were the originators of Mom's Pantry, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
It was March 1979, and
wow.
Yeah, I was cleaning tables that night. My dad was cooking, my mom was hostessing, and my brother was washing dishes, and my sister was just a baby, so she was being babysat by my nanny and my poppy.
Yeah. So when we go back that far, you're just a kid. Your mom and dad say what? We were going to start a restaurant, or how did it start?
Well, they had actually, I think it's a dental office now, but you remember Monovan's? It was Shannon's back in the day. So originally with Bill Pratt, they started Shannon's restaurant, which was fine dining, was later hours.
That was in the 80s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
70s actually, mid-70s.
Oh, wow.
And so with hockey and everything else, they wanted to do something that was more geared towards family. Earlier hours and things of that nature, so they got to talking with Bill. The Pratts had this piece of property here, and Mom's was the brainchild. And when they originally started, actually in '79, Bill Pratt was also partners here.
So without any restaurant experience, or did they start Mom's Pantry with actual restaurant experience?
Well, they had the experience from Shannon's because they had done the fine dining, which actually at the time I think was my parents' take on the Village restaurant, the Village Inn, in Thornton.
Yep.
They loved that place. That's where we went for all of our, right? The hot fudge cake.
Oh, yeah.
And I think before they started Shannon's, my dad was at Georgian College. He was teaching chefs. And him and my mom were running the cafeteria at Georgian. And also, many years before that, my dad had been scouted out to open the Barrie Country Club.
That's a long time ago now, too.
Yes.
So we're going to come back to your mom here because Junebug, we all call her Junebug. I want to get to know a little bit more about your mom and what she's doing now, but let's go someplace that I know is really personal. And a lot of people had a lot of real respect for your dad. What happened with your dad? Where's your dad? You know, what happened with your dad in the business?
Oh my gosh, I miss him so much. We had at the time Mom's here in Barrie, and then we had, I'm going to get a little choked up, Mom's in Midland, and my dad was really sick for a while, and he was having troubles getting food down, and I remember my sister kept making doctor's appointments for him that he kept canceling. Eventually we got him in, and it turned out he had cancer in the esophagus.
How long ago was this? So how old were you? How old was he?
When he's diagnosed, he's in his late parts of his 43rd year of life.
Too young.
Exactly. I was early 20s. Shane was early 20s. Shannon was 14. So we found out he had cancer. We put both restaurants up for sale, knowing that my mom and I could only properly manage one.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted Barrie because it was the established one.
Sure.
So we sold Barrie. We sold everything. We sold our homes. We all moved up to Midland. We relocated the whole family. Eventually, my dad passed away from cancer a year later.
I'm so sorry.
Thanks, Kevin. So the people that had bought this place weren't doing as well as they had anticipated. So then we put Midland up for sale, and we bought Barrie back, my mom and I, and we came back to Barrie, our hometown, and it brought us back to happier times with my dad too. So it's always been our happy place.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be. So let's go back to your mom here, Junebug. All right, June. If anybody is spiritual and fun and just gotta giddy up all the time, it's your mom.
Oh yeah.
She doesn't stop.
No.
What is she doing now that everybody's left this place? What's it like for your mom now since she left Mom's Pantry?
She now comes, she goes between my sister's house in Toronto and mine, and because she is a go-getter and always busy, she comes, when she comes to my house, she comes into my house, she gets everything in order, she puts me in place, she says, you know, you have clothes that should go to wherever you're not using them anymore, so let's sort out your clothes.
Big heart.
Yeah, let's, and she does the same thing at Shannon's, so she's still go.
Yeah.
She'll keep us busy and just, you know, having fun. She goes now to, my sister's got 2 little guys in hockey.
Nice.
My brother's 2 kids, his one son and his youngest girl have both been through hockey.
Yeah.
Willow actually just got a full scholarship to Boston through hockey.
Very nice.
So she follows them and enjoys that, but you know, she's running the show still.
That's nice. So I think Shane may get a little bit of his scrappy little giddy up and go, probably from your mom.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which is great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think.
Because your mom never held back.
Oh, and still doesn't to this day.
Yeah.
To this day. I remember when Shannon first got with Darcy, it took him a while to get used to the fact that, you know, it was just, if she felt something, it was out there.
Yeah.
Whether when he bought Shannon the ring to ask her to marry him, and it was sitting in the console of the truck, and it was in a blue box.
Of course.
So, of course, Junebug thought it was for her. She said, oh, is this for me? And Darcy was like, no, sorry, Junebug, not for you.
So let's go back a little bit back to you being here too, because, you know, I want to come back, and I want to talk probably a little bit about your brother a little bit too, because what that's like, you know, living with your brother who's, you know, captain of the Montreal Canadiens and all these other cool things where you are. But I want to talk a bit about some of the things that I even saw when I was here, even young. Showing up here to have lunch or dinner or whatever with my family, you worked here.
Yeah.
You didn't walk around and, you know, high five people, and you didn't direct. You were in that kitchen.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, with my dad, he had me work every position in the restaurant. He had me out front. I waitressed, I cleaned tables, I hostessed, I got in the kitchen and did that. If there was a mess in the bathroom, he would say to me at a very young age, you're going in to clean it up. And I'd be like, why? And he'd say, because you're my daughter, everybody suspects that it's not going to be you, and that's exactly why it's going to be you. And I would
great
go
value.
He's, you know, he was that guy that said, if in life, if you had things that you didn't work for, if you were given them as opposed to working for them, that you never appreciated them as much as you did if you worked for them. So
well, Barrie does have a few legacy sort of places in town, restaurants and even car dealerships where, you know, the owners have done a very good job of getting their children involved and not just soaking it up. Because we've seen what happens with like the Eaton's legacy and things like that. And things didn't go well.
Yeah.
But in your situation, you were one of those people who you were hands-on.
yeah.
So going through this, I gotta ask, what are some of your favorite memories of Mums? Because I know this place could get crazy sometimes.
Oh my gosh, it could get crazy. My favorite memories, honestly, are, you know, like when people like yourself and your family would come in regularly. We all knew each other. It surpassed that customer-client situation, and it was more of a home atmosphere, or like family getting together where, you know, we joke, we have fun, but we got our work done at the same time. But there was a comfort zone with all of us. And
Always.
I think that, you know, you came from the same mold because of your parents that I did, because you were the same. You were, you know, you were either going to school or you were working, but there was no, you know, freebies.
Yeah. My favorite memories are always going to be the salad bar. But
my gosh,
the crazy
the
salad bar that
bar.
was always just fun here.
Oh, the
but
salad bar.
something that I notice whenever I come in here now, since your family is no longer involved with it, is, and again, it kind of goes back to your brother, all the hockey stuff's gone.
Yes.
And so that's different, because I know some people who would sit in here and didn't know the Corson family name, but knew Mom's Pantry and decided to check it out, and all of a sudden they're sitting in front of one of Shane's Team Canada shirts. And you got a pretty cool story about Shane and his Team Canada thing, if you could tell me that. There was how many points he got.
Oh yeah, when he played actually 2 years in a row. He made the Junior Team Canada World's team, and then he held the scoring record for that team for over a decade. So, you know, there were players like Wayne Gretzky, Eric Lindros, gosh, you know, my old mind fails me, but all the guys that came from that generation, the Wendell Clarks, the this, the that, you know, out of all of those guys, he held that record for over a decade, which for me is still to this day pretty amazing.
Yeah, you got to be proud of that.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I'm going to step over this sort of funny wall here, and I'm going to ask, what would you say your brother would say about you as a person growing up, or even as who you are today? He's always seemed very proud of the Corson family, and so what do you think he would say about you?
I think I know, because he regularly tells me he's a good brother that way. I think he's proud of my work ethic, how I've done as a single mom raising Sunny, how my life changed when I had her, and that I'm a fighter. I think that our parents raised fighters, and by fighter, although, you know, Shane's known for being a fighter on the ice,
Yeah.
we're all fighters.
And Jefftown.
Yeah, you know, the odd time.
The occasional time.
But we're known to be fighters for other things, like through life being a fighter. I've gone through a tough time this past, couple years, and I've been fighting my way through it, and I'll continue to fight.
Well, you've changed a whole lot of things, not just your day-to-day, but your entire life has made some big changes. So let's go back to, you don't have to tell me how it changed or why it changed, but let's talk a bit more on the, who created this, in you. Like, what was it that inspired you to get out on your own and just be you? Independent, because you've got this beautiful young daughter who you're incredibly proud of. We all see it, and you beam when you even think about her. We can tell. So, tell me a little bit about what's going on in your world right now. You've had some big changes.
Well, in the restaurant world, it's a 7-day a week, constant text, phone calls from people 24 hours a day, even if you think you're going to get away. I was missing a lot of Sunny's life, and she's 14 now, and she'll be off to school soon, and I was like, I'm missing so much that I wanted to make a change. I see other people, friends that I see on Facebook making changes. I saw Steve Harvey talking on TV about this thing, and he says sometimes, you feel like you want to make a change, but you're afraid, and he said sometimes you just have to jump.
You have to.
So I thought, you know what, I need to figure out what I want to do and jump.
Yep. And that's pretty authentic.
Yeah.
Right? That's the genuine Patty.
Yeah.
Right? So if you have a message for your daughter then, what is your one message you'd love to have your daughter always know and learn from you?
Well, one of the things that I did, Kevin, that I did really for her and partly for me, but mostly for her, was I went back 3 years ago and I got my high school degree.
I didn't know you didn't have that.
Yeah, because I quit school when I was 15 to work full-time here in the restaurant. So my dad and I went to a meeting with the Board of Education, and I got the okay to quit school, and the people from the Board of Education that were at that meeting would come in here and visit, because of course I carried on a little bit in the meeting, and poor Dad was hiding. So I went back and I got my high school diploma, because I thought that was really important, and
that's
I'm always
3 years
preaching
ago.
to Sunny, you need to get your education. It's a different world nowadays. You have to have your education.
Yep. I know some people who have some of the greatest real world experience, and they've been doing it for 20 years, and they go and apply for a job and nobody's touching them because they don't have a university degree.
Exactly.
And I just think, wow, with all the experience you've got.
Exactly.
So you've taken that education, and before you tell me a little bit more about what you're doing now, you went from Mom's Pantry and worked with another company. It was Sticky Fingers.
We did. We worked with Sticky Fingers, and like I said, I was never meant to be a bar owner. I was a family restaurant owner that closed at 8:30 or 9. Mom's restaurant, home cooking. I really never wanted to be in that bar industry. I didn't mind being a customer, but I didn't want to be in the industry myself. So that's kind of what pushed me to make a jump.
Sure. Well, you're part of what made Mom's Pantry Mom's Pantry. But people say they do home cooking in restaurants all the time now, but you go to restaurants that it's not home cooking.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sound hokey, but there's made with love, right?
Yes.
You look at those pies up there. Those pies, my dad would come in here and lick the glass because it's like, Dad, chill out, wait, you're not having pie for dinner. But it was always those things that were homemade.
Absolutely.
Right, and it was made with the customer's best interest, not just the bank's.
Oh my gosh,
right?
Yeah, 100%. I'm sure you remember, if you're in here some early mornings for breakfast, many years ago, my dad would be back there baking those pies, and you would hear him out here singing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's a really
awesome.
nice memory for
Yes,
sure. Nice.
Absolutely.
So, after Sticky Fingers, you just decided what? You just didn't want to be in the bar business whatsoever, and did the school thing?
I did while I was still working at Stickies, I did my high school diploma on the side. And then I started looking into different things that I wanted to do that would allow me time to be with Sunny, because she's pretty hardcore into competitive all-star cheerleading right now. So we travel to Cambridge twice a week for her to train. She actually was on Team Canada last year, Junior Team Canada.
Wow.
At Worlds.
Very cool.
That was pretty phenomenal.
So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. I was so happy and many tears about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so, and I want her to know too that as a woman, as a man, as whatever, it's okay to make a change and be brave and go, out in life and not be afraid to make changes.
It's a good message. I like that. So you've taken some big leaps of faith now too. So tell me now, what is it you've chosen as a career choice? Because I want to talk to you a little about what you're doing now too and see how you feel.
Okay.
So what are you doing now?
I'm a mortgage agent.
Okay.
I love real estate. That's what brought me in.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get going. I really, when I decided to make the change, I wanted to get going and start doing it. So I started looking into how I could be involved in real estate, but not, spend a year or two getting there.
Well, agents, what is there? I think the Barrie market says there's one agent for every 145 people.
Exactly.
And it's still growing. People are still in the RICO courses.
Exactly.
So you're a better way to represent all
house.
those. Yeah, you can do that now too.
Right?
And you can get on the MLS. All these little things that you couldn't do before that made it fun to be an agent, and now you can get into.
Absolutely.
So you are definitely taking advantage of something very good and great opportunity, as the economy has, I think it's kind of balanced out now, or the experts are saying it's balancing out.
Yes,
but this is a great time for everybody to seriously, and I hope everybody's paying attention to this, it's a great time to lock into something right now, because if they start bringing things up, that extra point and a half,
makes a huge difference.
it's a big difference.
Huge difference. And I think for me, there's a lot of people in the industry, and not everybody, but like any other industry, that are, very slick. I'm not that slick person. I'm honestly, I'm new to it, but I'm a hard worker, and I want to help people. I want to be able to sleep at night as well. So I'm enjoying it. I like numbers, and it gives me an opportunity still to interact with people, which is what I've done all my life, just in a different way.
Yeah. So I'm going to go back to your relating with people, because I love what you're doing now, and I'm really proud of you. I just want you to know that I'm proud of you, because I've seen the changes on social media and just who you are, and you are truly authentic. You're very, very real, and I think that that's something people need to find about you.
Thanks,
Kevin.
I appreciate it.
So, go back to Shannon.
Yes.
Because this is going to sound funny, but we never really talk about Shannon, because there's this big shadow of Shane Corson.
Yes.
Right?
And then her husband kind of outshadowed her too, that it went straight to Darcy, the brother-in-law, and forget about that other sister.
That was my
secret sister.
That was my old Montreal Forum voice I was trying to do there, because I saw Shane play there, and you would swear that somebody handed the microphone to somebody else, because it would be like all French, la 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 la, Shane Corson.
Yes.
La, la, la.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and Dad would have that on in the
Sad.
back office, watching it in the back office here. He called it the hot stove lounge.
Yeah, my
and
dad.
it'd be all in French.
My dad is a Habs fan, but I still talk to him as often
Le
as I
boot.
can. Le
He
boot.
knew it was a goal.
Oh, le boot. Oh. So now
You did that a little too well.
I know. So let's go to Shannon a little bit, because Shannon is dynamic as well too in her own way, and I want to ask you, tell me a little bit about Shannon, your relationship with Shannon.
Oh my gosh, Shannon is comical, because she's this, she's a mix of my mom and my dad. She's this very ladylike, and as you know, I was never that ladylike, quiet girl. I was always, very boisterous and, fun and having, let's get the party started,
like the royal
girl.
family,
Yeah.
she's the one, and you're the other. Yeah.
Yes, but we give her a glass of wine, you go, oh, there's the Corson. We see it now.
Nice.
But yeah, she's just, she's a heart of gold. A great kid. Her and Shane actually live 5 houses down from each other in Toronto now.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It is.
So let me go back then, and sort of a funny question, and you may or may not feel the need to answer it, but I want to know the truth. Do you ever feel that maybe?
Careful.
Well, here we go. All right, ding ding, your Oprah moment. You start to cry.
Okay,
so
they're coming.
Here they come. So, do you ever feel that at any point, because your brother was Shane Corson, well, not was, still is, Last time I checked.
But he was Shane Corson.
Shane Corson.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh.
Now he's just Shane.
No, he's just Shane. No, he's just Shane. He's never just Shane. He does a great thing for the community, and we'll talk a little bit about that later on. This is your opportunity.
Okay.
So I want to know, do you feel that you ever had friends, maybe in high school or maybe later on in life, that maybe just gave all the credit to Shane on this restaurant, or maybe wanted to get to know you to get to Shane? Do you ever feel that maybe you might have been used a little bit or that kind of thing? Because he
I'm
is
sure
a celebrity.
there were
He's a
times-
very celebrity.
Yeah, there were times, Kevin, many years ago when he was more of a celebrity for sure. There were, people that definitely tried to befriend me as an avenue to get to him. But I learned to scope those people out pretty quickly. And so I didn't really get the wool pulled over my eyes too many times that way. I mean, as we went through the years, people thought that, Mom's was Shane's restaurant, and I'd have people ask me that, and I mean, it was just that they assumed that, because you always heard his name, and I was like, well, no,
Sure.
Shane was 12 when we opened. He definitely didn't have, the finances or, the credit to be able to go out and,
Yeah.
finance the restaurant.
Well, it was a
At that
hockey
point.
shrine in here, though, for a long time. It was the shirts. Luckily, they were washed.
Do you know what the
but
funny
they were,
thing is, though?
Yeah.
So we had all the hockey stuff, and
Sure.
then my dad finally gave me a wall over here.
Okay.
And then there was a few pictures of Shannon that would get put up on the ledges. As the years went by, people would we'd find pictures of people's children. It was like the shoe tree out
Oh, yeah,
on
the tree.
Carson Road.
Everybody's pounded the trees up.
Oh, yeah, the pictures. Who is it? We don't know. But we just left them, and we would dust them for them, and yeah.
That's
so they became,
really funny.
yeah, part of the mom's family.
Whatever happened to those pictures?
I don't know, because we left when Ange bought Mom's. We left everything for her, other than some things that were personal mementos of ours.
Yeah.
And she was able to do whatever she wanted with them. But yeah, who knows where those poor old photos are now?
The wheels are turning now. You and I need to
Yeah.
do a selfie and put a
Right?
picture here in a frame and just see what happens to it.
Yes,
See if
let
they keep
Ange
it.
come home from Calgary and find our pictures there. I think we need to.
I think so too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Your wall?
the Kevin Richards Shrine. Yeah.
absolutely.
Great.
Yeah.
People are trying to eat here. so
You're comical.
so what I want to then ask you then is, what's it like growing up with Shane, right? Like, do you ever feel that he pushed you in a better way to do more, or were you always just, you enjoyed this? Because this is pretty spectacular too.
Yeah.
Because Mom's Pantry it's a big part of Barrie.
Yeah. Growing up with him as my brother, honestly, was probably one of the best things in my life. He's not this guy that people see on the ice or who, sometimes people assume him to be. I think people that know him know that. Like, I think that you have a pretty good hold on who he is, but he's just this really kind person. And even as we were growing up, yeah, very soft-spoken. Even as we were growing up, he would make sure that I was not left out of any situation.
Yeah.
When I was in St. Louis, when he decided to hand the captaincy over to Wayne, because they had, I don't know.
We're
if
talking
they
Wayne
traded for-
Gretzky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had traded for him, and he was coming into St. Louis. I happened to be down there visiting at the time, and Shane said, come with me. I'm going to hand the captaincy over. And I said, oh gosh, I don't want to be, there's can't.
So he
all this
wasn't
stuff
asked to
going
do
on.
that. He did that on his own prerogative.
Yeah, he said, I got the greatest guy in the game right now coming.
Yeah.
I am not, going to skate around on the ice with the C next to him. He said he needs to be wearing it. And he went to the coach and said he needs to be wearing the C. And to this day, him and Wayne are actually really close friends. He's another really good guy.
Well, your brother and Wayne Gretzky both hold the Canadian flag pretty high.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When it
for
comes
sure.
to patriotic, your brother is right in there, just like you are.
Yeah.
You can see it in your family. You've always been very patriotic. I'm not talking about the marketing signs out front.
Yeah.
But you guys have always been very, very Barrie proud.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
And I
It's our
love
hometown,
that.
yeah.
Well, for sure.
Born and raised, right,
Yeah.
Kevin?
Yeah, it's a long time.
You got that. It's okay. Ease down on the long time thing for us.
Yeah, it's too
today
long.
I'm feeling younger than usual.
Well, you look younger than me. There you go.
Get out of here.
So let me ask you this then. What do you think Barrie needs to know about you? What do you think Barrie just doesn't know about Patty Corson?
I don't know if Barrie knows who I am today. because I feel like I'm a different person since I had my daughter. Honestly, like my whole world just changed. My reason for living. I think I became more conscious of how I treat people. I always now, try to treat others the way I would hope somebody would treat my daughter. I think before I had her, I just don't think you think that way until you have kids, and then, you see them maybe treat badly or, come home with little tears over something very little, but still it makes you think, right?
Yeah.
And it does, it changes who you are. So I would hope that maybe people come away from this knowing that, I'm a different person than I was when I was 18 or 19 years old.
Well, things haven't been handed to you, and not everything has been roses.
Oh, gosh, no. My dad, I remember, and that was another misconception of our family. On my 16th birthday, a Camaro came in the parking lot here with Big Bow on it. So everybody assumed, including me in that moment, that I was getting that car. Yeah. I was like, oh. Yeah, inside the car was a birthday card that told me my car payments. And every week I gave my dad my car payment. And I don't think anybody knew that. And never once did he say, oh, honey, this week, don't worry about it. He snatched that money, Kevin. He snatched it right. So then I was sure in my head, I'm like, he's putting this away for me. That's what he's... Sure. No, he wasn't. No.
It's going to the car.
He snatched it and it paid for the car. And I appreciated that car, let me tell you.
But that is something that is a life value that you don't get.
Yeah, it's a little thing, right? But it means so much.
Here's what your dad handed you, is he handed you value.
Yeah. Which
is not something people necessarily respect as much as they used to.
Oh.
There's a lot of sense of entitlement nowadays. Ooh. And, we grew up in the greatest generation, right? Of things not being handed to us. Yeah, some of my sisters might argue that, because, I got 3 older sisters. What am I going to have? Hand-me-downs forever, right? Get nicer legs. But,
I love it.
But you don't get things handed down to you.
No, it's a different generation. And honestly, I look at Sunny and I love her to death, but I see that, I'm part of the problem myself. I do it myself at times where I catch myself doing things for her that my dad, when he had more than I do now, would never have given me. He would have made me work for it, 100%.
So let me ask you, other than Mom's Pantry, where would be your one happy spot in Barrie? What's your happy place?
Honestly, I would say anywhere with Sunny. It's just that simple for me nowadays.
And I think that's beautiful. Okay, so I got to ask, other than Shane, who was your go-to favorite hockey player?
Okay, you know what? You forgot to take someone else out of the equation.
Who?
Darcy Tucker.
Okay, other than Darcy, you can't have the Legion of Doom. Who else other than those two goons, those hockey goons?
Oh my gosh. I would say, and this is an obvious answer, but not for obvious reasons, Wayne Gretzky, but not so much for the player he was, but for the person he was. He was one of the first guys when our dad got sick that picked up the phone and called Shane and said, what can I do? Do you want me to get him in to see the best doctor in the US? Yeah, he's just an amazing person.
That's a pretty amazing phone call to receive from the great one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're talking about the greatest hockey legend of all time.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
Yeah, he's a genuine guy.
Yeah. And I really have enjoyed sitting and talking with you, Patty, because you and I could probably talk for days.
We could.
I really think so. So I want to thank you, and on behalf of everybody that I can think of that has ever met you, thank you for everything you did with Mom's Pantry.
Kevin.
Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patty.